Let's talk about the king running the game right now, man.
Yeah.
Kendrick's running the game, man. I'm not even gonna talk about nothing. What was y'all thought when y'all saw when y'all heard the record and saw the video?
First of all, when I heard the record as Kendrick, I mean, you knew it was gonna be something that was gonna be just out there, and it was gonna make you think. Because I had to run it back twice because I actually missed. I missed Kobe. I missed the Kobe face like when I first, because I was listening to the barge, you know what I'm saying? So I missed the Kobe face the first time, but each transition he kind of referenced something from each individual.
Crazy.
And it kind of made you think. I mean, it was so crazy, man. It was just like when we was talking about the joint with Kendrick and Pusha T. When that cat broke down Kendrick's verse, what everything meant in the verse, it's the same thing with this, the Heart Part 5. There's always a message, man. And the way that he can deliver that, just, man.
Right.
It was crazy, man.
It was a breath of fresh air for me, man. But B.O.P. go in, man, because I know you wanted to cry when you heard it.
Man, it was. I still got to run that back, even to this day.
Oh, you got to.
In addition to the folks whose faces he's, turned into, was it Ye, Iceberg's favorite cat, Jussie Smollett, Will Smith, and Nipsey and Kobe. One thing that I noticed in addition to all that, and some of the breakdowns of those transformations on the visual tip is, it reminded me of what D'Angelo did with How Does It Feel? Because
with that one shot,
the one shot deal, and just how you nailed it. And that was the other thing that I thought about just from beginning to end. There wasn't any breaks or anything like that. So
it was poetry, man.
It was
the crazy thing that he did is he said something about being off sync, and he actually stopped. Actually, his mouth went off sync. It was crazy, bro.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a lot of subliminals in there. I mean, you really had to really pay attention.
You really do. You really do.
I mean, when he said the part about you just got out of your bid, man. You go home and try to get some weed and get killed. Like, that hits home, man. That's hometown, man. You know what I'm saying? But LB, El Powerfather, go in real quick, man. Go in real quick.
Hey man, this is like you said, refreshing, man. It's it's refreshing to hear some bars. It's refreshing to hear the track. It's refreshing to see a video that's not focused on girls, cars, and cash. Like it's just like when we think about this, it's just refreshing, and it's still somebody who is relatively young, you know what I'm saying, in the game, with respects to people like Nas and Jay and stuff like that. Although he is like older, he's not like old like them, you know what I'm saying? So so when we get like just somebody that is younger in the game and just does all of this, it's just refreshing, man, because if you were a person who grew up and saw the evolution of hip hop like firsthand because you lived it, and you see all the directions and all the tentacles that have sort of like come from the rap game and hip hop game and all of those things like that. One of the things that you always like to see is you like to see it when it comes back home too. You know what I'm saying? Right. And Kendrick is one of those guys that he always brings it back home. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which is that I'm going to bar you. I'm going to give you these lyrics, but I'm going to give you good production. I'm going to give you just good music. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think sometimes guys get so caught up in everything else that's going on as far as social media and this and that and the third, that some guys forget to come home. And Kendrick never forgets that. You know what I'm saying? And he not only does that with his bars and lyrics and visuals and things like that, but he also does it in a way because it's still like just a good and a fun song to like listen to. Like, so even if you just have it on in the background, like you'll still be bopping to it. You know what I'm saying?
Will. And it's that Marvin Gaye sample, man, that just kind of took it home too, man, because even on that Marvin Gaye record, it was like, I want you the right way, but he was killing it. So to put that same energy on top of put that energy on top of that,
Yeah, man. Just absolutely bananas, man. So anytime you can get somebody that can give us a bop, man, but can still give us lyrics and still just do all of the things that make you really, really, really love hip hop, man, you just be like, yes, you know what I'm saying? And this guy is doing it at
everything
at peak level, man. He's at the pinnacle, man. He's up there, and he's gonna stay there for a while, man. And it is absolutely bananas, and to everybody you should be like going crazy that you living through this man's like peak, you know what I'm saying?
Well, let's be clear, if you're watching the show live or on the replay, we got a little circle right here, and this is technically supposed to be his album cover. And if you listen to the lyrics, it said that he was talking about kids, my kids, plural. He's only got one at the time. So basically the cover basically showing that he has a new kid supposedly. And he also said wife, which possibly that could maybe be his wife. Who knows? But either way, this is supposed to be the album cover. But again, what was your thoughts on maybe a bar or just a certain part of the record that just made you go, just go crazy?
Man, so many, man.
Sheesh. I could really talk about each transformation that he did, and per verse, and just give you guys what I gleaned, but that'd be a whole show in and of itself. So
absolutely.
Devon's right too, man. The no gimmick thing, man, was just and thought provoking, was really serious.
Right. Yeah. You know what? I'll let you brothers go, and then because of all of them, I'll break down what I got from the last verse.
Well, I'll jump it off, and I'll even just start with just his opening line, man.
Ooh.
He just comes in, he says, I come from a generation of pain where murder is minor. You know what I'm saying? And just even starting right there, when he opens up, it's kind of like a movie where they get straight to the explosions. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh man,
you go straight to the car chase.
Yeah, you straight to the car chase, and then you get back to the rest of the stuff another time, man. That's kind of what this opening was for me, man. To just say hey, I came from a generation of pain. I like that what he's doing is he's setting you up for everything else that he's getting ready to deliver and talk to you about, and to open up with just that line, you immediately know, all right, man, dial in, lock in, it's time to go, because this man is ready.
He took you on a journey. It wasn't a storytelling record, but it was storytelling, man. It was crazy.
Crazy.
The thing I can say real quick, L, is the video made me see how dope black men are. You know what I'm saying? How dope we are, man. And sometimes we don't get props from outside cultures, even some of our own people, man, even sometimes our own women, you know what I'm saying, don't give us the props, man. But just seeing how influential heterosexual black men are. I don't know about Juicy, but
you know about
mine is Juicy.
Keep going.
But even taking it back to Jay-Z when he was like, I'm not black, I'm OJ, you know what I'm saying? And having OJ in the joint was crazy. But even also the whole Kobe and Nipsey thing, man, just losing those dudes, man. And don't have their vision. If you knew what they were doing before they passed, you damn,
man. Yeah.
I guess for me, man, it was the verse that I put. I think it was the third verse that I put in the group chat. Where he was like, ninjas going to work and selling work, late for work, working late, praying for work, but he on paperwork. That's the culture. Point the finger, promotion.
That's when he had that yay face transformation, and it reminded me of the spaceships joint on that College Dropout.
Yep,
man,
that's exactly what it was, man. And that wordplay there, that's the one I had to go back and run it back. I'm
that was serious.
What this dude just said, man?
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Wordplay, just
I think, man. I mean, for me, all of it was just beyond dope. I think maybe the most. Well, I don't know if I'd say the most, but at least what comes to my mind is that absolute last verse where he turned into Kobe and Nipsey. I think it was maybe, and I want to emphasize, maybe the most personal verse where he was essentially admitting that he had put like a lot of work in for the culture while making his fair share of mistakes along the way, but with that positive intent, along with changes in school curriculums and community changes for the better. Like what comes with that is what people don't see. And that's the daunting pressure behind closed doors. And he even admitted to like staring down the barrel of a gun in that verse before realizing that he needs to change himself before he can change, you know, other people or other situations in mass.
That's real, man.
It was very retrospective,
while
man.
Still right. While still contributing more to the fans. So I think that's what like was kind of retrospective for me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could go down, you know, other things such as when he transformed to Will Smith and then it was the hurt people.
Yeah.
And then the transition to the verse.
Jada was like, this man, damn it.
Right.
I'll beat this pussy up disease.
Oh, yeah. And if you don't catch, if you don't listen, you'll catch it because he stayed in that Will Smith state.
Over the hook.
Yeah. What that hook say?
For a minute, man.
Yeah, that hook said, "I want you to want me too."
Yeah. I won't. He repeated it. I won't like 5 times.
But again, go back to the original sample. Marvin Gaye was talking about, "I want you the right way, but I want you to want me too."
Right.
And he had the Will face on. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a lot, man. It was a lot.
He actually.
Even with the Smollett thing, real quick, he had talked about, I want to represent us. And then he had talked about being in Argentina and a body of water being separated. So I took that as kind of like a metaphor of like a lot of folks that say they want to do something, but, you know, for black people.
I'm the gay Tupac.
Yeah. A lot of people say black this. Yeah, he could have had Diddy up there if he couldn't think of Jussie, but but I mean that whole video, you could dissect so much from it, like with each listen and each view of that. Man, that it is poetry. So
let me get your prediction real quick. Get your prediction real quick.
Okay.
Two questions. Will it be a double album? It comes out Friday, so we're gonna talk about it on Saturday. Will it be a double album, and will this be his Forest Hill Drive?
For the audience, let them know what you mean by his Forest Hill Drive.
That was J. Cole's
Top of the Mountain
album.
There you go.
Like that, there was a roll through. That was his best album. It was a roll through classic, back to back bangers. Will this be a roll through his pinnacle album? Because Damn was cool.
Damn was good.
Banging. No, Pimp and Butterfly was banging, but will this be his pinnacle album, and will it be a dub?
It's possible on both accounts. You know, it's possible that I think it could be a dub. You know, he's had 5 years, just like the Wu-Tang Clan from the 36 Chambers to the Wu-Tang Forever joint. That was 5 years as well. And, you know, that double album that the Wu-Tang cut was a classic. And that's a very hard thing to do as as somebody who creates a double album. There's only 3. What's that, brother?
Jay-Z failed with it. He didn't make a good one.
Right. I mean, only Big Pac and the Wu have been able to successfully craft a classic double album.
But in the world of streaming, what is even a double album anymore? You know what I'm saying?
That's like true too.
Like what becomes a double album?
Look at the songs though.
Yeah,
in the streaming world.
Yeah, Wikipedia. Yeah, look at the track list and Wikipedia will tell you too. I mean, I know.
And I'll probably take a different approach to that.
Go ahead, brother.
I don't feel like Kendrick has put out a bad album. I think all his albums have been roll throughs. And I'll start, even though Overly Dedicated was not technically an album, it was a mixtape, but it really was an album. It was like the first project that people like really, really heard. To Section 80, to Good Kid, Mad City, to Pimp a Butterfly, Damn. I think all those are roll throughs. Every single one of them. Like, those were like all road trip albums for me. Like I rolled through each of those. So it's almost like, will this one be better than the best out of that bunch? It's possible. I mean, it probably will. It probably will be, but it's going to be tough because he's already got so much.
If the album sounds anything like this, man.
No, I mean, but to say that this is going to be but I think he has more than just one classic, though.
Yeah,
so
man.
No. I'm not saying it's going. It's not. He doesn't have them. Will this?
I know you're not saying that.
Will this be the best out of all his
That's
albums?
what I'm saying. That's why I say it's going to be hard. Because to Bebo's point too, when you think of like, Wu's discography, they first two
classic,
classic, untouchable.
Like which one? Or even like Bone's first two albums. Like, which one you gonna say? Both are classics. So even if this one won't be as good as some of the other ones, it can still be a classic. That's basically the only point I'm making. But it's a good question that you asked, because I think this one will be the best of the bunch, though. I'm predicting that.
Then Jay's really gonna go back in on this stuff.
LB's guy Joe Budden said he's jealous of Kendrick.
Yeah,
he should be.
Yeah, I mean every rapper should be jealous of Kendrick.
Yeah, he should be.
Every rapper should.
And let's be clear, this is his last album on TDE. You know what I'm saying? Then he goes into PG Lane full time, working on that. So I think this album is I think he's gonna end it off just. It's gonna be like how you started with Good Kid, Mad City. I think it's going to be the end story to all that. Now him growing up being a man, because he started as a kid.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? When he first started, I think this is going to be his transition into the new label, manhood, fatherhood. You name it. I think it's going to be a solid adult contemporary hip hop album.
I'm glad you said that too, Iceberg, because that's what all his albums have been. They've all been a transition from one phase of his career or one phase of his life to the next.